give you 2 reasons why you can have high cholesterol. Now, I know a lot of people out there talk about cholesterol, it's inflammation, it's this and that. There's many reasons why you can have high cholesterol. I'm just giving you 2. So the first one I'm going to talk to you about is too much sugar intake. When I'm talking about sugar, I'm talking about sugar, sucrose, fructose, glucose. Doesn't matter if it's a vegetable. Even vegetarians, I'll talk about this. People on low-fat diets. If you take in too many carbohydrates, what happens is there's too much sugar in the body per se. And we're going to simplify this. So all this sugar has to actually pass through the liver because the liver goes, well, there's too much to go to the brain. So it actually kind of has to process it. Well, the problem with this is you can actually store some of this in the liver as stored glycogen to use as energy. But if those glycogens, if you don't need any more glycogen or the glycogen stores are actually filled up, we could say the little doors are already closed and locked, what happens is the body has to use the sugar. It can't send it to the brain or anywhere else. So it actually converts the excess sugar into cholesterol in triglycerides, which is essentially fatty acids that are used for fat storage. But it converts them to cholesterol and triglycerides, and they get circulated through the body. So people that have a diet that's high in carbohydrates or high in sugar, vegetarians, it can easily lead to vegetarians high cholesterol. And that's why I've worked with tons of vegetarians with high cholesterol, and they go, well, I don't eat fat. How can I have high cholesterol? Well, the reason is because you're eating too much sugar, which is carbohydrates, and no fat. So your body or your liver takes this excess sugar. Now, if you do a lab test, one of the major things that you see, and it could be other things, but if you do a blood panel and your doctor says, well, your cholesterol is fine, but your triglycerides are very high, 90% of the time or 99% of the time, this is because your diet, your food ratios are completely way off. And you're taking in a diet that's way too high in carbohydrates, in sugars, and not enough fat and protein. Now, another reason why you can have high cholesterol, and this is what statins do, they block what's called an enzyme. It's called HMG co-reductase. HMG co-reductase. Vegetarians or low-fat diets, I know I'm picking on you, but it's too easy to pick on you. Or if you're eating a diet that's low in fat, we'll go with that. So what happens is the body sees this as a time of feast and famine. It's dangerous. We need carbohydrates, protein, and fats for our body to survive. The fats make up who we are. They're precursor to hormones in the body. They're anti-inflammatories. On and on and on. Super, super important. Well, when you don't eat enough fat and you're eating too many carbohydrates and you release insulin, insulin actually facilitates the release of this enzyme, HMG co-reductase. Because the body sees it as feast or famine. So now what it does is it overproduces this enzyme, so you start converting some of the sugar into cholesterol, so you have these precursors for the hormones in your body, because you need these hormones. And this is one of the reasons that lead to, there's many, hormone imbalances in women. And this is why you see most vegetarians with really messed up hormonal systems. The interesting thing is when you eat fats, right, it downregulates insulin because you don't release insulin when you eat fat. And the only way you can store fat is in the presence of insulin. So when you eat carbohydrates, you release insulin, which are fat storing. But when you eat fats, you don't release insulin, or if there's a balance. And bile can't store fat. It actually breaks it down so you can absorb it, beside the point. But the bottom line is when you eat fats, you don't release insulin. The fats, besides stimulating the gallbladder and releasing CCK and all these different things, it actually downregulates or inhibits the HMG co-reductase enzyme. So what that does, it shuts off the body from converting sugar to excess cholesterol. So you just learned in less than 5 minutes why people that eat a low-fat diet, a diet that's low in protein, a no-fat diet, a no-protein diet, or a diet that's high in carbohydrates and low in fat, on and on and on. More importantly, most 70s, 80s type people, and vegetarians, and why all these people are having cholesterol problems. Now, there can be other reasons, but what I have found, it's 100% dietary. 100%. It takes fat to lose fat, and actually takes healthy fat, balancing out omega-6 to 3 ratios, downsizing the amount of carbohydrates in that person's diet depending on their metabolic type, increasing the protein, and that's all it takes to actually lower the cholesterol over time, especially triglycerides. So thanks for tuning in. It's a short one today, but I'll be back later on this week for another educational YouTube clip, and I appreciate you all for tuning in. If you want to set up a free consultation, feel free to give us a call, 760-597-9727, or visit our website at eastwesthealing.com.